All right, so you're trying to get jacked in the gym, you're putting your time in, but some stupid shoulder pain right here is holding you back. Here are 2 important things I want you to know and 3 things to try so you can get back to your normal training. Number 1, current medical research suggests that exercise therapy wins over top of almost every other type of therapy, and that includes stretching and lots of other fancy stuff that you might see in a PT clinic. And it's even been found that the most common surgical fix for this, it's called the subacromial decompression, is not superior to exercise therapy and strength work. So the good news here is that not only can you stay in the gym with shoulder pain, but you should be staying in the gym. Number 2, the vast majority of shoulder injuries happen because of the training terrible twos. That means too much, too soon. Essentially, your body's saying, I'm not ready for this. Now your ego might be saying, that, nothing's too much for me, nothing's too soon for me, but hopefully your brain reasons with that ego so that you can realize that this is just a temporary setback and that if you are gradual in your progression moving forward, you're gonna be just fine. So if your shoulder's really irritated, it might just be time to work on what we call foundational movements. Imagine building a home and the center of that home, the foundation is cracked or there's a problem with it. Can you imagine building on top of that and just ignoring it? Unfortunately, so many of us do that in the gym, training on our own. And sometimes it can be so valuable to get some much needed strength, blood flow, and proprioception to the muscles that are at the center of every single upper body movement that you do, your rotator cuff. The first movement that you're going to do is a superset, which essentially just means you're going to do the first movement, the pal raise, the second movement, external rotation, back to back with no rest. Pal raise here, special emphasis should be placed on a slow down phase and a little bit of a quicker up phase without trying to stretch too far behind your body. Right into external rotation. In a perfect world here, your shoulder blade stays put, your elbow stays above your rib cage, and the rotation happens just strictly in the shoulder joint. You don't really want to see a movement here where your shoulder blade is moving forward and backwards. The second movement here, kettlebell arm bars. Pretty technically difficult movement, but it really does a great job with impingement by training the rear section of the shoulder to be active when you're in an abducted or an arm or a hand away from your body position. Essentially, what you're trying to do is turn your chest, your head down towards the ground while maintaining a vertical arm. You could do this with a bottoms-up position on the kettlebell. That makes it way harder, but overall this is a very challenging and a very good exercise. It's stimulating growth and stability on the back end of the shoulder, especially when you have pain in the front side of the shoulder. And last, I really like a banded dumbbell row because dumbbell rows you typically can go pretty darn heavy on, even when you have pain in the front of the shoulder. The extra cue of having to pull against the band really helps to fix the trajectory of this movement, as a lot of people pull it to the rib cage rather than to your hip. This way right here gets way more out of the movement.